I had a buddy in high school, and you guys know, everybody has a friend like this. We couldn't understand how he kept having these great dates with these girls, right? We couldn't understand. So we were really struggling, trying to figure out, because we couldn't find one justifiable reason why it was happening. Okay. I mean, he wasn't in sports. He wasn't very smart. He didn't do anything musically. I mean, wasn't very good looking at all. I mean, we just couldn't get it. So finally, instead of being jealous of him the whole time and talking about him behind his back, finally we went to him and said, bro, you're going to have to tell us how this is happening, because this just doesn't line up. And he says, okay, I'll give you guys a secret. I said, what do you do? He says, well, I walk up to her, right? I was like, got it. And he goes, and I say, you want to go out? We were like, what? I said, you mean you just ask and then they go out with you? He was like, oh, heck no. He goes, they always say no. I said, then what do you do next? He goes, I just ask why. And then what happens? They tell me. And then I go work on what they told me. And then what happens? I come back the next day. You want to go out? And they say no. He says, but I worked on those things you talked about. And then he says, that's when he gets the truth. See, the first day, they just didn't want to hurt his feelings. But the second day, they give him the real reason. I said, do you go back and work on that? He was like, no, because those are usually reasons I can't do nothing about. But finally, the last day, he comes up again. I'm like, wait, bro, you come up again? He says, yeah. I walk up and I said, hey, you want to go out? It's like, what? And then you end up with a date. He's like, yeah. I said, how did that happen? He said, you know how hard it is to tell somebody no 3 times? But look what happened. It was just because of his ability. He did not fear rejection, right? It was just no. What's the worst thing that's going to happen is no. And then you gather information. Here's why I talk about a game changer. Here's what a game changer has to have in their DNA. Fall is here. Fear of rejection manifests itself in the ability or inability to give and receive feedback. If we're going to take things to the next level, which you are, the feedback loop has to happen faster. The reason I believe even the worst run NFL franchise, Cleveland Browns, even the worst run NFL franchise, I still believe is ran better than most organizations, corporations in the world for one reason and one reason only: video cameras. There's no place for us to hide. So there is an objective feedback loop. We get feedback every single day of our performance. We can't hide. We get to deal with not the effects, which is what you see on the scoreboard. We get to deal with the cause. And as a result, we course correct. I remember, and then also, you know, we got some pretty deep-seated performance improvement techniques. I remember I had this one private company owner in Florida. He asked me the question. He was like, Eric, tell my people what happens in the NFL if the players don't play. Tell them. I was like, you sure you want me to tell them? He was like, yeah, because I want my people to know about accountability. He says, because they're not performing well. So, Eric, what happens to the players in the NFL when they don't perform well? I looked at him. I said, okay, they fired a coach. I was like, I'm sorry, man. You should have told me ahead of time you were going to ask that.